This is So What Who Cares with Laura McCarville and Jeff Kolaski. Join us as we explore practical insights for an impractical mind. Well, let's talk.
Okay.
So let's get into this week's question from one of our listeners. Are you ready, Laura
I am.
McCarville?
Yes, I'm very ready.
Here we go, Laura McCarville.
I'm so ready. Is it heavy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Just read it.
do you want me to break it down before I read it?
No.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'm 58 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm definitely grieving my life right now.
Oh.
It's like I'm slowly watching the version of life I thought I was supposed to have disappear.
Mm.
Can you talk about identity transitions in midlife?
Mm.
I would love to hear your take on how I sit with that kind of grief.
Mm.
Hey.
Two things popped into my head.
Yep.
One, I met this amazing woman who's a psychotherapist into her late 80s. Actually, maybe I've mentioned her. She just traveled to do MDMA for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about buying a car and like, I'm going to have to give up my Jeep. And she just said to me, "You're aging yourself too fast."
Mm.
And here I think of that same thing.
Mm.
Sometimes we just have to be reminded that it's not that late,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, one, it benefits us greatly to have friends and colleagues and ancestors and people who are our elders in our
Mm-hmm.
life, because when we are more isolated, 40, 50, 60, we start to go, "Oh, I'm getting so old."
Mm-hmm.
And relatively to, the woman is sitting across from me who's
Right.
89.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm still
Right.
have so much life. I think that's important to sort of remember or be called out on, because I can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing I'm thinking of is recently, my son Jordan's 20, and he's having this like coming to of like, when I was younger, I thought I would have more things figured out by 20.
Mm-hmm. I remember having those thoughts.
Yeah, like 20,
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be in da 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 position and da da da. And who made this stuff up?
I know. I
You
hear
know?
people at work sometimes. I've heard like God, I'm 28 years old. I'm supposed to and I'm still this. I'm like, yeah, you're only 28 years old. You've got plenty
And
of
isn't
time.
it like so
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like I'm being condescending, because and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're not supposed to have it figured out. And I don't know if we're ever supposed to have it figured out.
Right.
I don't know where this um, person who wrote in is coming from, but I definitely know, like, when I moved from Nebraska to California,
Mm-hmm.
California 40 is way different than
Sure.
Nebraska 40.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that's probably not the same today. That was 20 years ago,
Sure.
I would guess. But the relationship to age is very different
Mm-hmm.
depending on which part of the country you live in, where in the world you live in.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes quite relative. So there's that. But then there's the other thing that happens, which I don't know if what this person's experience is, but I can only speak to mine, of going through like menopause and and then both of my kids growing up and leaving the house. So there's
Mm-hmm.
this transition that happens, um, in this time frame too,
Mm-hmm.
at 49. So like in your 50s that this person is in,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think it's gender specific. It's different hormonally for
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure it's different, but people have their own
Yeah.
experience, and we're supposed to.
Yeah.
We're transitioning to a completely different archetype, to a different position in
Mm.
society, a position that's not honored. So age. So then we also have to go like, well, is this me? Is
Right.
this my hormone shift? Is this the culture I'm engaged in? Um,
I, when I read this question, the line, it's like I'm slowly watching the version of life I thought I was supposed to have disappear. That part just sticks to me because we all, growing up, getting older, even as into adulthood, we have these ideas of where we feel like we should be and where we feel like
mhm.
we want to be, and the things we'd love to be able to achieve, and the goals we'd like to reach, and all that. And you know, as the years tick by, you go, well, there was another year, or maybe you don't even notice it in that kind of real time, where you just say, I'm still not at this spot yet. And I know that it's dangerous to live in a place of if I just had this, if I just do this, that's obviously
Not mindful living for
right. No,
sure.
no. Um, but I just feel that somewhere in me just kind of going like, especially if you feel like you're hitting an age like 58 years old is 58 years old,
Mhm,
right? There's still a lot of life left.
mhm.
But when you're there, you might be feeling like 58. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
about I think about
right,
what 30 meant to me when I was a kid,
yeah.
full of dreams and, like stupidity and
Yeah,
just
it's
a
so
kid
good.
innocence. And 58 though was dead. You might as
Oh,
well have been dead when
mhm.
I was a kid. 30 was
Yeah,
like unheard of. Like, you're
of
old.
course.
Now I'm 41 and I'm,
Mm.
you know, 58 doesn't seem that bad anymore.
I know, and
And
I mean, I get it too because, like, you said 41, and I was like, "Oh, like, I miss
mhm,
being 41."
yeah.
Like, I
Mhm.
get there's that, like, it is going so
It
fast, and it
is,
goes
yeah.
faster, but I think what you're speaking to is that, like, idea of I'm supposed to be somewhere,
Mhm.
have something, know something, that disappointment
Mhm.
of this is life,
Mhm.
and that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and it's so sad because, like, and I know it doesn't need to be. We can change the
Mhm.
narrative in our own lives. But it feels sad when you go when it's just internalized. I'm not if I'm happy with my life. I like what I'm grateful for the things I have. I find joy with those around me. I've love my family, all those things. And at the same time you can still look at that and go, this is the one. This is the path that happened. I'm in a job that maybe I don't love. I'm in a, maybe there's, I can't, I'm just making,
Yeah.
I have a broken marriage. My parents died when I was younger, or whatever it may be. And you're going, this is the one that somehow I ended up with.
Mm.
It's hard to feel grateful sometimes.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I think things come in waves
Hmm.
too. Get your hormones checked.
Yeah, true.
Because that plays a big
Hmm.
piece into it. I think now it's more recognized for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
And that's across all genders that if you're at this age and
Hmm.
sometimes we start to pathologize experiences that are biological. So
Mm.
but the thing here is like that switch in identity.
Yeah.
Like, who am I now? And I can relate to
Yeah.
that terribly. Like,
Mm.
so, and James Hollis does such a great job of talking about how his last daughter, like youngest daughter, just drove off to college and how that felt like now all this energy I've put into my children now comes back to me. And what am I going to do with
Mhm.
it? And I think that's this time of, your later 40s, late
Mhm.
40s, 50s, 60s, you start to go like, well, I've put all my energy into climbing the corporate ladder, raising the children, this
Mhm.
thing or that thing. And it changes.
Mhm.
And now what am I going to do with this energy?
Right.
And and I guess that's the question that we get to ask ourselves. And sometimes I think, when like thinking of myself, but this like lost, like, who am I now? We reflect back. We go, "Oh, I felt so good when I was a da da da. Maybe I should do that, or I was vibing at this thing,
Mhm,
or and who am I now if I'm not doing that anymore?"
mhm,
You know? So that's a real so to me, this is a really sweet time that you get
mhm.
to go like, well,
Let's
what wants
explore it
to
again.
come
Yeah.
through me now? Um, and I don't think we're meant to have it figured out. That's a
Right.
myth. That's a
Right.
story. So the human experience isn't ever figured out,
Mhm,
you know? So we we keep going and you go, okay, well, what am I going to do with this here?
mhm,
What do I want, you know, Mary Oliver's, do with this one precious life is
mhm.
and there's grief. I mean, I think we have to
Yeah.
tend to the grief of
Eh,
like the change of identity, like the change of what time brings.
yeah, and I will point out that this person, their last sentence is, "I would love to hear your take on how to sit with that kind of grief."
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
I think that that's a pretty, I don't know, a pretty authentic and reasonable question,
Mhm.
like and pretty self-aware too. Like, yeah, there's going to be transitions. Can you talk about identity transitions in midlife? You know, and the fact that there is potential for some grief there. Like, and that's
Oh, yeah.
okay, like you're gonna a lot of who knows what's going on, but in you and I's life, there are kids that are moving on, and so there's a change there. There's changes in bodies. There's changes in economics and politics. There's changes in all this stuff, and that we're and just the
How do
cut
you sit with grief?
right.
I'm
Oh,
asking.
you're asking me.
Yeah, like when you've had a change, I mean, you were in the Navy and then
Hmm.
you're not anymore. Was there a grief cycle in that of like, who
No,
am I now? You were
that
like,
that one didn't come. The grief there didn't come until later. Um, and that grief was just the relationships
mm-hmm,
that aren't as they once were.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I didn't grieve personally that transition part of my life. I celebrated being done.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean there hasn't been, you know, some grief. I'm a little easier to change paths than some people.
Mm.
Um, how do I deal with grief? Uh, I don't know.
Yeah, the sit with grief is interesting because some of us can really sit with
Mhm,
it and like drag it out.
mhm,
And some of us are like, nope, let's get on to the next thing.
mhm,
Those are the two extremes. So I do like this idea of like metabolizing
mhm.
grief. So are you is it moving through you or is it stuck?
Right.
If it's stuck, then I think we enlist
We got
support,
some
you
work.
know. Um but if it's metabolizing and you're with it and
Mhm.
aware, then it's probably just right on time.
Right.
Then the other piece I would be like asking, ooh, I feel like I have a sneeze.
Give yourself the mustache.
I know I am. Rub the upper lip. Um,
You did it. You stifled it.
I know. I don't like doing that, but I don't want to sneeze into
Yeah.
this.
Anyone who uses that mic after you thanks you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thanks. Good deeds. Um, Yeah. So are you metabolizing the
Right.
grief? And are you asking the question, not because there's an answer, but are you asking the question, what wants to come through me
Mhm.
now? And I think if we're looking back, is like the depressive view. If we're looking forward, it's like the anxious view. So if it's like, I'm just keep reflecting, 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 like it's gonna be a drag. So it's like that is there. This is like be in that. This is now. So can you do both? Can you actively practice both?
Right. I think that the idea of and I'm probably just speaking for myself, but the thought of what could have been, not because I'm unhappy with where I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
but what could have been. What millions of different timelines could have,
like
if
that sliding doors.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and then, some of us get ideas on what we thought that like we already said, like what I thought I should be at this point or do at this point.
Okay,
And I'm
I
not,
just wonder because I
yeah.
don't really have a lot of that,
Hmm.
but I wonder if that's like gender specific. I know like my
I don't think
dad.
it is.
Okay, so I just
Mostly because, yeah.
yeah, I think just how I might have a little bit of wiring and how I work with time
Hmm.
of like I
Yeah.
might just not
Yeah.
have that as much.
Mhm.
I remember I mean I have some goals and things, but I don't think on the lines of like I could
Yeah.
have been, should have been. Um but I do know people do work
Yeah.
with that a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is torturous, I
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's made up. I mean, you could have been the
Right.
Queen of England. Like, it's just
Would
as
have been
real
real hard
as
for me to do that.
but it's just
Yeah.
as made up as some of the other stuff that could
Yeah.
have been,
True.
you know? I like the idea of, like, parallel universes and
Hmm.
some of those, like, more
Sure.
fantasy,
Yeah.
philosophical, like, talks and
The
such. But if you're
multiverse.
like yeah, the
Hmm.
multiverse, I love that stuff.
Hmm.
But if you're getting stuck
Yeah.
and daydreaming or
Mhm.
even self-hypnotizing around like,
Right.
I could have been. And then there's some grandiosity that gets played in. Well, I could have been a, NFL
Yeah.
player. No, you couldn't have.
Right.
You're 4'2" and
Hmm.
haven't worked out.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
this isn't gonna happen. That
Right.
maybe, but do you know what I mean?
I
Like some
do.
of
I
this,
do.
like
And I
the
think it,
grandiosity
yeah.
of like
Yeah.
what could have been.
I
I
just,
don't know.
yeah. And,
I don't know if it's good for us.
oh, I'm sure not. I'm sure not. I think it's hard to let that go sometimes. And I'm speaking not just for myself. I'm speaking for conversations that I've had
Yeah.
and things that people do deal with. And
Mhm.
the thought of like, well, here I am at this age, whatever the age, 58 or whatever the age, and going, I'm I'm sad that I haven't done the work to do it. I had opportunities to do it. Yeah, I was busy. Yeah, I had the stuff going on.
Mhm.
I had, this, that, and the other thing, but I never did. Here I
Mhm.
am. Now I feel a little bit like a failure. Now I
Mm.
feel a little bit like there's shame or embarrassment
Mm.
because maybe I'm seeing other people my age or younger that are, you know, that have done the thing.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure there's a lot of things that can be said about, well, not, that's not a mindful life necessarily. That's not, but it's
I mean, a
real. I mean,
little
there's,
reflection is okay, but if you're
yeah.
stuck, then you gotta go get some support
Mhm.
to move through that.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I can speak to like my dad has this constant, this is his real
Mhm.
constantly. And maybe that's why I do the opposite.
Mm.
um, of like what could have been and where he should have been by now, or these kind of things
Yeah.
of like travel. Like he hasn't traveled, he's just worked his whole life. So he has this idea of all the things he hasn't done because he was working.
Mhm.
And this is where it's important for him to go get some support
Mhm.
because that's been the story, for 20 years.
Yeah.
And 20 years later, you're still working.
Mhm.
So then it's like, is this just habit of mind? Are you actually feeling these things?
Yeah.
Are you just torturing yourself with this thought pattern? I I don't know.
Yeah.
So I would say like this person's self-awareness and the ask about sitting with grief points them to moving
Mhm.
forward in the process
Right.
and doing the metabolizing, and the
Yeah,
curiosity is
I agree.
really important to acknowledge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
And I get it. I had the same conversation yesterday with my close girlfriend about like, man, I had all these identities as like the yoga teacher
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
these things that I had done and what am I doing now and how that shifts in our
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't say, I mean, if I find that I get stuck, then I bring it to my people,
Yeah.
my support.
Mhm.
Um, but if it's learning to sit with grief, sometimes writing letters to your younger self, sometimes writing letters to your future self,
Mhm.
sometimes tapping into our elders for
Yeah.
some relative guidance is really important, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
If this person were sitting in front of you right now, what's and
Oh,
you had just a minute to give them a couple things to work on right now. What are or things to consider, I guess, or
mm,
words of advice or something along those lines. What do you
mm.
wish that you could tell this because they're listening?
I would say the question you're asking is right on time.
Mm,
So, because you're asking it right now, tells me that there's not much to worry about
mm,
as much as there is to stay open and curious around.
mm,
So grieve and keep moving both, and keep asking the question of what wants to come through me.
mhm.
What am I here to do? And that doesn't mean like our dharma or like our job or 9 to 5. It just
Our
means like
dharma.
what is it? What is it that
What's our dharma?
like our
Oh,
calling, like what is it that is this special gift that I have
mm,
that is meant to be in
okay.
service to the world?
Yeah, but you're not
Um,
talking about
no, but it's curious to
that. Yeah,
ask, like, what do
sure.
I do with this energy now?
Mhm.
What is it here now wanting to do?
It's been whatever it's been for the last 58 years.
Mhm. Yeah, and
What is it gonna
normal
be
to
now?
have the
Right.
what am I now that I'm not those things
Mhm.
that those younger years were.
Right.
That's right on time. So good job.
Mhm.
Well done.
Yeah,
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 you didn't sleep through it,
yeah,
so
sure.
that's important
Okay.
to recognize too. And you didn't like power through it and pretend as if it's not happening,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, you're feeling it.
Uh-huh.
You're dealing with
Yeah.
it however you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
You're
So
asking a question.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
actually really good. Like I
yeah.
would be like,
Good job.
yay, good
Yeah,
job.
well done.
Yeah, we
High
don't know.
five.
Right.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
Side knuckle.
I've been working on the side knuckle.
Nice job. That was good.
It was awkward. You can just say it. It's fine.
Your skin, like, clammed up with just when I
Yeah,
did that. God.
I know. My shoulders are still tense from it.
Alright.
Mm,
Anything else you wanna add to this one?
no.
No.
No, no, other than I just love working with this
Yeah.
experience, and I'm so, so grateful to my teachers and, for me specifically, women who are helping me
Mhm.
navigate this next stage,
Yep.
to my teachers that are in their 80s.
Mm.
I'm so grateful. I've been smart enough to gather around
Mhm.
people to help support me, and that I've always also have younger people
Mhm.
around me too,
That's a
because
good mix.
it
Yeah.
is
If you're with clones of yourself all day, every day, what do you get from that?
not
Not
much,
much.
not much.
Let's diversify this a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more
Some of my
communal,
favorite yeah. What'd you say?
more communal.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said mercury and all. I'm like, "Ooh, we're getting real woo-woo."
Yeah, no, I mean,
Mercury's in the microwave?
I
No.
don't think that's how it goes, but
Oh, okay. Some of my favorite conversations I have in my day-to-day life are with people that are significantly older than me.
mhm.
That's, you know, some of the weirder ones too, come to think of it, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. There's this interesting fact. This is maybe not, you can cut this or
Mhm.
whatever. But for women who cycle, their estrogen goes down
Mhm.
in menopause, and your estrogen is your communal hormone. It's the thing that puts you
Mm.
into community. So if we think ancestrally, like, or like our like,
Yeah.
like I'm nursing and I need to be around other
For
people and
protection
like
and
for
support.
protection. So
Yeah.
estrogen's really important in the way of communing and
Yeah.
belonging. But then as we go through this change, the estrogen goes down, which means then sometimes we'll notice my dad always said, like when I was starting to go through menopause, he was like, don't get a divorce. He's like, women go through menopause and they leave their husband.
Yeah. You're like,
Which
have you met my partner?
I mean, this is a reality though,
Yeah.
because your hormone of belonging doesn't feel it's not there. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, so you see
Who
a lot
cares
more
much
of like
anymore? Yeah.
that unhinged
Yeah.
kind of, wild woman.
Yeah.
Um,
100 years ago, they would have
example,
been burned at the stake for that.
right? Like more of that archetypal, like wild woman
Hmm.
crone. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say crone, but you see what
Yeah.
happens. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do the thing that the patriarchy has taught me to do. I'm
Uh-huh.
I'm disengaging from that
Sure.
situation.
Yeah.
So just an interesting little
Yeah. It is.
experience.
Yeah.
I would also say find teachers who um, are teaching to this experience because when you're going through this idea of like the polyvagal theory and emotional regulation, it really is supportive to know like this thing is happening
Mhm.
and so the biology is impacting the experience of
Yeah.
me, and maybe the pathology isn't this,
Yeah.
it might be that,
Yeah. It's
you
it's
know?
hugely. I mean, it's the same. It's the same thought where like, um, I hear my wife or my daughters talk. If they're maybe moody or Nikki's feeling like super like hot or something like that, and then as soon as they can be like, oh, it's I can
Yeah.
essentially blame it on or give cause to it, go, oh, it's my cycle, or oh, it's
Yes.
this. Then like
Yes.
all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm not just then thank God I'm not just being crazy or something,
Right, like, because
then
we start to, like, think it's
like,
the thing
oh,
that happened and it's a this, and we start to
yeah,
story tell, and then we go, "Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
my
Okay, I
elbow
can
hurts.
be
It's
with
been hurting
this."
forever. It's been hurting forever.
Right, and
And I probably have cancer. I probably have to lose
right, the
my arm. I
story,
have
story,
to
story,
do.
story.
And then you get it checked out. Oh, you just have a little like pulled muscle or something like,
Yeah, yeah, those stories
oh,
that we tell, but
okay,
our hormones really affect it. Men
for sure.
too.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
come
Yeah.
in and they like, "I'm depressed,"
Mhm.
and I think it's really valid to
Mhm.
for when you are starting to come of these ages
Mhm.
that you get curious,
Yeah.
because again, it's not like, oh, be mindful when you're having hot flashes, like
Mhm.
that's the real experience, and
Mhm.
call it a power surge or whatever you want, but
Mhm.
like there's reality to the hormonal process
Yeah.
that maybe it's not depression, maybe it's low testosterone.
Right.
You deal with it how you want to. Everyone has
Sure.
a different opinion on that. um Consult your medical professional.
Yeah.
I'm not
This
telling
is
you
not.
what to do,
This
but
is not a replacement for your
right.
normal.
But I'll tell you that it really does make a
Yeah.
difference for me.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that.
Cool.
Cool. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura, and
Yeah.
whoever sent this
Yeah, I love
question
that.
or
I so
this comment
appreciate
in.
people's
Mhm.
curiosities. I don't, it's dialogue.
Yeah.
And
Let's talk about the things people are dealing with, right?
yeah, yeah. See if
If
there's
you want
something.
us to talk about what you're dealing with or a question that you have,
Mhm.
you can email us mail.sowwhatwhocares@gmail.com. That's Google Mail if you're wanting to know what the G stands for.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Didn't think about it.
Yeah. It's part of the Google family of apps. Supported by Google. No, I'm kidding. We're not. That'd be nice
Maybe.
someday.
Yeah. And if you'd like to support
If you'd like to support
Google.
So What Who Cares, you can email us at
We'll ask Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah,
Sponsored by
sponsored by
Footloose.
the Bacon Brothers Band.
Movies.
Isn't he in a band? Wasn't he?
I don't know.
The Bacon Boys or something like that.
So bubbly.
We should be sponsored by Bubbly.
Product placement.
Product placement. Like I'll have my Samsung tablet up here and like vans, like product.
Oh my gosh, you remember when shows when they started to do product placement and you're like,
So
yeah,
yes.
like New Girl. I love that. I love that show. And then all of a sudden it's like, why is the Ford Escape in all these
Yeah.
episodes? Suddenly they're
Yeah.
running around town in a
Yeah, I know.
gross. I mean, it's still